morning. I'm recording this video for the master students who have the course Life Skill with me. The course Life Skill is about skills, strategies, abilities that we need to know, we need to learn, we need to practice in order to conduct a happy, healthy, flexible, and a positive life. Are learning how to establish interpersonal skill in order to have better communication with people, and it would not be possible unless we have a good awareness about ourselves. It is about self-awareness. How will we know our potentials, our weaknesses? How will we know the different strategies we use in different situations? I'm talking about ERS, emotion regulatory strategies. How much of it we know in practice, and how flexible we are when we are under pressure, experiencing stress. So how can we manage that? How can we overcome the different problems and hurdles we face in daily life? Because life is full of challenges, and down in order to control, to manage your different kinds of emotions of anger, jealousy, grief, sadness, and different stresses of daily life. So how we can move toward our goals successfully when we encounter different hurdles and the different emotions arise. So it's about the emotional competence, and by interpersonal and communication skill, we need to know about empathy. Empathy means feeling. Empathy means feeling the way other people feel and understand their feelings. It's not about the absorption of the negative feelings that people around us have, but it is about understanding. It's actually kind of cognitive empathy, that you understand and you're aware and you're alert of how other people are feeling, and motivate you to help them in any way in order to reduce the tension they are experiencing. One of the important one is personal skill. By personal skill means how much knowledge, awareness you have about yourself. How well do you know yourself, about the weaknesses, about the strong points, about the potentials, talents that you have, and about the self-confidence, self-esteem, self-efficacy, your knowledge about yourself, about the background, about the memories you have, about the future goals you try to reach, and about your flexibility, your responsibility, the engagement, about teamwork and working with other people, the sense of collaboration, sense of humor. So whatsoever you know about yourself, this is the first part. It's about personal skill. Who am I, and the knowledge about it. The second skill that we need to practice. Social skills are important because you're not living alone. You're living with other people in the society, and then you need to interact daily with other people, and to communicate with people, with the society, with the people in the community. You need to know how to approach them. So here we need to know about team working, about peer working, about group work, about working in the society. We need to definitely improve our empathy. By empathy, sympathy, I'm talking about how well we can listen effectively, actively, listen verbal and non-verbal. We show that we are listening to them, so it helps them continue their talk and express whatever emotions they have. In other words, we say to walk in other people's shoes, and it's really a hard thing, but we need to improve this technique. This helps us to get closer to other people. So even when they are talking, in the middle of their talk, we can ask some questions, or we can have some statements to help him to go inward and to probe and check, investigate what he or she is feeling in depth. I mean that even if there need to be some changes, if they are exaggerating about it, this helps the other person to check how he or she was feeling, or maybe it was not as it was expressed. So he is going inward in order to probe the whole process of experience and the feeling. There are a couple whether a family member, so you are showing that you are caring, and this sense of care is very important to show in empathy. The other one is criticism. How open you are to criticism. Some of them you might ignore because you don't see relevant, but some of them maybe they can help. By mental or cognitive skill, I'm talking about enabling yourself for better problem solving, for better decision making, for having better choices, options, alternatives, to see everything critically. So to have a critical thinking, not to accept everything in the instance as people say it or persuade you, but to think critically about all the pros and cons, and even check your preferences here. Even you might change your priorities here. And then what about the creative thinking? A new, novel, fresh look at the different things. So far, you have been looking at this, for example, particular object this way. Now we can look at it differently from different perspectives. We call it creative thinking. And then we have organizational thinking, analytical thinking. We analyze different things, even we synthesize the different ideas. We try to associate different ideas. We have different beliefs in order to come up with a unified, integrated one. Regarding self-awareness, when I'm talking about the strengths, potentials, talents, and the weaknesses, you should identify them, and it's not an easy job. You should know what type of activities you are good at. And then you also need to check what you can do alone and what you need the help of other people by your side. And then you have to even find your unique abilities that just belong to you, and involving those activities you can do them efficiently and you can do them very well, because this is the meaning of a skill. What we mean by a skill, it's the capability to perform something, some actions, some tasks, some activities efficiently and effectively. So when we are talking about other people, we are talking about making a bridge between you and other people, to understand them, to understand what they think, to understand their differences. We should not expect that everybody behave as we do and think as we do. Diversity is good, and people think differently because they belong to different age cohorts, they belong to different genders, they belong to different backgrounds, family backgrounds, national backgrounds, and different identity, different religious identity, political identity, and economical identity. So they should definitely not think exactly as you do. So learning about communication skill is actually enabling you how to argue, how to discuss something without fostering more conflicts and clashes, how to solve a problem, how to reconcile. Because when you are at peace with people around you, it helps you. It helps you with the internal peace as well. So when you are making peace with the people around you, you also feel peace. Life skill is very important to learn because it is very much concerned with your happiness, with your well-being, and this is something that every day you wake up, you go to work, you go to university. Why? In order to be happy, in order to be healthy, in order to run a good life, as you might think, whatever good might mean to you. So you are trying your best to reach to that level, and without the knowledge of life skill, you cannot. A certain object differently, through a new perspective, through different new lenses. So it should have fluency, it should have accuracy, it comes with originality, it belongs to you, and also it comes with elaboration. Then this new idea can be elaborated. And about decision making and problem solving, I should say that they are very important. They are all about your options, about your alternative, about the choices that you have, and we have to know the consequences and the repercussions that they can have, the aftermath of whatever choices that we make. So when we're thinking analytically, consider the consequences, aftermaths, and even the peripheral offshoots it might have in our lives. Then the identification, the recognition of these problems and the stresses, strains are very important. Then we need to go for the causes, for the mechanisms involved in these problems. And then we should come up with some solutions, some practical solutions. Some solutions are just imaginary, some pragmatic solution that is accessible and in hand, and then it's manageable. World Health Organization says that life skill is learning about the skills, strategies, techniques that help you know yourself, help you know how to live with yourself. It's a recognition about yourself, about the people around you, about the community you're living in, about the environment. By life skill, we are first of all dealing with ourselves. It is called intrapersonal. How will you know yourself, and how will you're able to cope with the stresses and emotions that you have, because it's the triangle of thoughts affecting emotions and emotions affecting behavior. And when we are aware of these emotions, what kind they are, we need to label them. When do they happen? Where do they happen? What about the intensity? What about the duration? What about the results? What about the impacts? The impacts on me, the impacts on the people around me. And how can I change them? How can I control them? Not suppress them, but control them, manage them. Take the rein of this horse, the horse of emotion, which is very headstrong. If we use ERS, emotional regulatory strategies, then we are able to first identify and know our emotions, label them, and we know that how do they arise, and what are the causes, what are the factors behind them, how I can control them, how I can change these negative emotions to positive emotions, to positive effects, so I can feel better. This positivity is good for the whole body. When mind is functioning well, healthy, positive with the well-being, then it would, like the emotional well-being, the mental well-being would definitely affect physical well-being. They are very much related. Psychosomatic disorders are all about the problems that we have and we feel in the mind, and they can affect our body. It's about mind and matter relationship. That this is about identification and recognition, and what thoughts, what beliefs, what ideas are behind and backing this emotion to arise. When we know them and then we change them, we improve them, we enhance them, we work on them, but they keep changing the negative into positive, then we can definitely see that the feeling of fear, worries, and too much of stresses that would cause to GAD, generalized anxiety disorder,